Hey guys, welcome back to episode 20 of Omnifactory. I can't believe it's episode 20 already, but yeah, here we are. We're making really good progress here, and the first thing I've done between episodes was upgrade our tungsten production, as the reactor we built last time had a massive drain on tungsten, and we still need a lot more tungsten for the future as well, so this is still at IV. However, I changed up the way we're getting our dusts. So before there was only 2 of these molecular disintegrators, these electrolyzers. These will electrolyze the tungstate dust into tungsten dust, which is what we send through the blast furnace. So we now have 4 of those. I was going to make them IV, but we require osmium for that, and I don't have osmium yet. So I just added 4. Our tungsten production is now, I wouldn't say exactly where I want it, but it's at least bearable now. I also ended up overclocking this annealed copper, because this annealed copper is used for red alloy. Since I overclocked this as well, I was burning through annealed copper, so annealed copper is now EV. And you may also be able to see something in the back there that wasn't there before. I decided just to go ahead and build this third reactor. Not quite done yet. I'm still missing a few casings to go on the sides, and this is what the bulk of the tungsten is for. And the purpose of this reactor is going to be to give us the different fuels. So these, I think this was maybe in the square before. I've moved it over, and this depleted TBU is what we're getting from that reactor, which is the one built for power. And when we centrifuge this gives us all of these different fuels, so 235, 236, 237, and 233. And then we have to craft those into the next tier of fuel, and this is what's going to burn the next tier. And then those will be centrifuged, put into the drawers, crafted to the next tier, and sent into this reactor. This is basically just going to burn fuel as fast as we can give it, or as fast as possible really. This will also output power depending on what fuel we put in as well. We're going to get a couple 100,000 RF out of this reactor, which is a nice byproduct, and we're like way over producing power now, which is a really good problem to have at this stage. This reactor here is all passively cooled as well. There's no cryothium that went into, well, cryothium to build the coolers themselves, but these are different coolers to the active ones that are on that one. This doesn't take any fluid input or anything, it just runs the fuel. This way it burns the fuel faster, is the way I understand it. And again, for this design, I simply copied this design, as yeah, I'm not super familiar with Nuclearcraft, as I've mentioned before. But yeah, again, the reason we built this is in order to get the processing array. This is something I've wanted to play with since I started this pack. It's a new feature in the dev version of the game. This processing array is a 3x3 multi-block. It can share sides, it's another GregTech machine. This multi-block allows you to basically add machines to it. So let's say, for example, we want to alloy smelt. We can put the physical alloy smelters in the input bus, and then have a separate input bus for the alloy smelter inputs. So like, let's say, for example, we're making red alloy ingot. You'd put in copper and redstone like usual, except since you've put it inside the processing array, however many machines you give that machine, it will process it all at once. And it's a bit hard to explain, but it's really, really powerful way of crafting. And we're going to use that to replace these things. So basically all of these can become 3x3s, and we can put up to 16 machines in each processing array. However, this processing array is gated by sonarium. I don't know how you pronounce that. And this is from curium and plutonium. These plutonium things are what the reactor is going to give when it depletes the fuel. The new one, that is. And the curium's the same. I don't remember exactly which fuel gives it, but we do get it from the byproduct of this reactor. So yeah, hopefully we can get a processing array soon, and now that we have power, we can also upgrade it to, like, for example, LUV. So yeah, all that's left to do now is to fill this in with casings. I don't think I'm going to have enough, and I certainly don't have enough tungsten yet to finish this. Yeah, I'm going to be short a couple 100 tungsten here for the rest of these casings, so I'll wait for that to finish. While we wait for the tungsten and casings though, let's set up some of the crafts for these next tier fuels. So I'm going to use crafters for that. I've got item conduits on the back going into a controller sleeve for this drawer network. And then there's a really handy flowchart for the fuel on the Omnifactory Discord. So the first step is to take our 237 and 236 and make LEN 236. So 237 and 236. And that will go into this crafter. So we need limited item filters. And we'll put a stack of each in the filter for the first crafter. So 237, 236, insert brown, extract blue. And then we'll set the recipe for, what is it we want? LEN 236, which is this one here. And then we can add this fuel to the drawer wall. So that'll go in this one. And this first fuel is the one we want to run through the reactor, or one of them anyway. So I'll add it to this interface. And this is just an extract into the reactor port. Since this storage network of drawers here is connected via the storage bus, we can just import through applied energistics. Yeah, I suppose in order to progress here, we're going to need to build this reactor because this needs to run one cycle at least. And then, yeah, this fuel is going to go into the centrifuge, and then the centrifuged fuels will go in here, and then we'll craft the next tier of fuel, and so on. Alright, well, I guess I'll just sit and wait for this tungsten to finish. There's not really a whole lot we can do right now. And yeah, I'll come back when this reactor is built. So I was keeping an eye on this TBU fuel burn rate, and we were actually slightly positive on TBU as it stands. But I know that's not going to last. So while I was waiting on the casings for that other reactor, I expanded our TBU production quite a bit here. And this is 92 thermal centrifuges at EV tier. This amount of machines will be able to keep up with this at full load. I wanted to be able to run this reactor at max capacity if that's what we needed in the future. So instead of putting this off any longer, I just set this up, and we can now tear this MV system down since it's no longer needed. There, I think that's much better. And after setting that up, we now have the final controller piece for this. So that is from the reactor. This one is 11 by 11 by 11. And you can see again, we're at negative heat. Since we're not running the highly enriched fuels, so this one is only base 36 heat per tick. And yeah, we're at negative 82,000 heat per tick. So this is at no risk of overheating, even though we have no active cryothium coolers in this. So yeah, let's just turn this on, I guess, and see what happens. And oh yeah, this is burning through fuel pretty quick. But we are getting nearly 300,000 RF out of this, which is nice. We don't need the power, but I guess we'll take it. Let's actually just turn it off just for now, and we'll set the drawers for this. Yeah, this depleted fuel is going to go in this drawer, and then this is going to be extracted into this centrifuge as well. So this one is also going to give us Neptunium-237, which we already have a drawer for. It's going to give us Americium-243, which is this one. This can go in here. Americium-242, which is next. Plutonium-242. And so then those byproducts are going to go into the next crafter, which is going to craft the next tier of fuel. And the two that we're going to craft is Americium-232, or sorry, 243 and 242. I think we'll need some extract speeds on here. It's getting latched on this, I think. Oh, right, yeah, we're just not at enough fuel yet, so we can import the recipe for this. And we want LEA-242, so this one here. And this fuel will get its own drawer as well. Actually, you know what, instead of putting the depleted on this side, I think I'll put the depleted fuel on this side. And the next tier fuel on this side. I think that's probably a bit more sensible. Let me move the drawers about. Okay, I've rearranged the drawers so that the new fuel is on this side, and the depleted is on this side. And then I'll enable the extract on this again, so that this centrifuge will fill up with all the TBU and all the depleted. So now we want to have all the fuels we want to burn in this ME interface, so that it will just instantly put it into the reactor. And we have to actually set the output on this as well. Insert on blue, this will extract all the depleted fuels back into the ME system. So now obviously there's going to be a backlog of LEN-236, which is the second fuel after TBU. It'll have to process all of that, so I think what I'll do is just cut the line and just manually import it just so we can get the next fuel and set the filters and so on. So you process that for me, please. Yeah, as you can see, this is a lot quicker. So this is depleted LEA-242, so I'll have to add that to the drawer wall. And wait, is this on high priority? It is on high priority, so yeah, anything going in will go to this side. So this is depleted LEA. So that goes on this side of the drawer network. And then we'll add this to the centrifuge filter. And I'll just cut in line so we can set the drawers. And this will give us curium. Wait, just curium? Yes, it's all the versions of just curium. So I'll add these to the drawers as well. So 245, 246, 243 and 247. And it's 246 and 3 we want for the next tier of fuel, which is the last one. And the curium is going to make us lowly enriched, what is it, curium 243, which again will get its own drawer. And then we'll cut the line in the reactor queue just to process some of this. This will give us depleted LECM 243, which is the last version of the fuel we want. So depleted goes in there, and then we add the depleted to the centrifuge. And this gives us, well, 4 outputs, but one of them is the same as the previous tier. So we need 3 more drawers for these. And this will give us berkelium 247, berkelium 248, and californium 249. And then we'll upgrade all of these drawers as well with some, well, we'll just fully upgrade them and void them. Alright, so that's all for nuclear fuel processing. To be honest with you, this was probably the most daunting part of this pack, or one of the most daunting parts of this pack. This is definitely the thing I'm least confident with in terms of knowledge, so I'm quite happy I got this done. And oh, hold on, I forgot to add this to the interface as well. And we'll also hook up some power ports just to extract the excess power. There we go, so now power should be extracted from here. And we won't need to hook up any sort of redstone control for this, since we're at no danger of burning this reactor down. That's my understanding anyway. So we can turn this back on, and this will burn through our backlog of fuels. This turbo centrifuge doesn't look like it's keeping up either, so I think I'll have to add another one. Maybe I'll add another 2 or 3. What tier is this? EV tier? EV. Let's add 3 more. Yeah, why not? There's 3 more centrifuges. I will have to set the filters for those as well, so let me do that. Okay, so the extra centrifuges are set up. This will now go through the backlog of fuels that we have and give us all of these byproducts. Late game, we're going to need all of them, or most of them anyway. We need to make the, what is it called? The mote of omnium, I think is what it is. Yeah, this mote of omnium, we need like a couple hundred of these, I think I've seen the number floating about. And this requires like basically all of the stabilized fuels. So like berkelium, plutonium, americium, curium, and thorium, I think is all the radioactive materials here. Oh wait, uranium and also einsteinium. So these things are just from fluid extracting and then fluid solidifying in a ball mold. Is this recipe here for plutonium, for example? However, the thing I'm after is sonarium, which is curium and plutonium. We're now making curium and plutonium. We have curium here on this row and plutonium here. So we could actually set up processing arrays now if once we get these solidified. But I believe this is it's an IV recipe. We'll have to set up an IV line. Although I think I'll hold off on that until next time, and then we'll maybe start processing arrays next time. There's a few other things I'd like to do before I do that. And this will need to take time to build up as well. But yeah, it looks like we are stable enough. The heat is staying low, which is what we expect. This is burning through fuels. Our other reactor has been running a few hours now as well. This has had no issues. We've been keeping up with cryotheum. In fact, we're positive on thermal matter, or thermal pristines. We're at 18,000 now, which is a good thing to see. I haven't upgraded the TBU fuel drawer, because I just don't really think there's much of a need. These things will only run when they are needed. And like, for example, this crafter's full with TBU. So we have plenty of fuel for the reactor. And fuel isn't as much of a concern, since if it runs out of fuel, it'll just turn off. Whereas if we run out of coolant, that's a bigger problem that we have. But it's not going to run out of fuel with that new setup of thermal centrifuges. Like, most of these are even off and back stuffing now. I also realised our drives were filling up as well, so I added 10 64K ME drives, so that'll give us enough space. That hasn't even started filling up yet. I just seen some of the red lights, so I just preemptively added these. And looking at this quest here, this quest wants us to make uranium-238, which I guess we're not getting through this process. So let's just throw some uranium through this thermal centrifuge and get the quest. I have a little bit of it through my ore processing, so I think we can get it this way. Yeah, 238, we can just throw it in one of these. I'll turn off the extracts for now. There we go, there's some 238, that should be a quest. Oh, it wants 8 of them, okay. There's 8 and that should be a quest. That also popped 4 more, I guess. So many quest jingles, I love it. So I was reading through some of the quests here for the nuclear fuels. It doesn't seem like it's necessary for progression, it's just some extra options for power gen, like for example the RTGs. So we don't need to go this route for californium, we have other forms of californium. Same with berkelium as well. So I think for now I'm just going to leave it as is for these quests. And we might circle back right at the end just to get them, because I would like to get every single quest, just for the sake of completion. But yeah, I think we're mostly just done. I remember reading about a week ago or so, when I was researching some of this for the Nuclearcraft fuels, that there is a couple one-off things we have to process in order to get things like fusion. The Greg type fusion, that is I'm talking about. But I think we'll just get to that when we need it, and I think I'll just leave it there for now. So we can pretty much just leave this running, and it will burn through the fuels. The thing that's left to do now is solidify this in order to get sonarium. I think that's going to be for next time anyway. So now that we don't have to worry about power, we can now perhaps look at getting into the next tier of machines, which is LUV. And I would like to get these crystal processing units, which is necessary for tier 5 circuits. However, I believe to get these, we're going to need gemstone sensors to send with the rocket, or the microminers, to get exquisite emeralds. And then these exquisites we can turn into engraved crystal chips, which we turn into crystal CPUs, which is for the circuits. So to do that, I think we're going to need to get the medium Microverse Projector. This is for tier 4 and above. And it says here, initial missions can operate on IV power, while LUV is required for later missions. So why don't we see if we can build this thing? We do have some microversium. Yeah, we've got 500 ingots, that should be enough. I put in the recipe a while ago, since I was going to do this before nuclear, but I decided to get the power first. So let's craft a medium Microverse Projector. And how many casings was it wanted? 54? Oh yeah, easy. We can do that. It's just some microversium ingots. And what else? 36 ineffable glass. I think I have the recipe for that. Yep, there's 36 of the glass. What else was it again? A quantum compressor, some input buses, output buses, and vents. Okay, I'm just short a couple of casings. Well, they're just crafting up here, but the block of diamonds don't seem to be acknowledging on the quest book here. Maybe we have to chisel them. Let's try that. Okay, that seems to have fixed it. Chiseling them into black space. I'm realising we should also probably expand this base a bit so we can set up our IV line. So let's add another few blocks onto our base. There's 1, 2, 3. I guess 3's all we're doing for now. We'll also have to encode the recipe for some IV machines. So is there anything we can't do here? Lumium energy conduits. I don't think we've made these yet. Oh no, we must have, because we have draconium. Or sorry, signalum. Yeah, we do have these. We don't have the crystal circuits though. Tier 5. We're still using quantum processors. Alright, let's swap that out then. And then we'll put this in the ones to be upgraded. Oh wait, I already have a CEF at IV. I'm confused now, I don't know. CEF... Yeah, I've already encoded this. Oh, that's right, yeah, it's because we have ore processing at IV. That's why I was getting confused. I don't think I actually showed this change yet, but I swapped this assembling machine to use normal rubber to coat the lower tier of cable, since it is a bit cheaper, and we're getting this basically for free with our rubber setup over here, using the rubber pulp, which we get from wood. And then the styrene butadiene stuff, which it comes from the petrochem area. I've put that in the higher tier, which you can only coat some of the tiers of cable in that. So like for example, aluminium and tungsten. These can only be coated in styrene butadiene or silicon rubber. So I've built a separate EV assembler for styrene butadiene rubber and swapped the other one that I was coating wire with in regular rubber and just kept this at HV. So yeah, that's our CEF done. Our casings should be finished now as well. Wait, 50 casings? Is it not? Yeah, it's 54 casings. Looks like I miscounted. Let's also extend the energy line for IV. So I was leaving, what, 1 square gap? Yeah, and then starting in the middle of this one. And we need aluminum cable for this. There's the casings and the quest for the medium Microverse Projector. Oh, okay, this is a bit bigger than I thought. Yeah, I think here. Here seems like a good spot for it. I'll leave some space on this side for the inputs and for the CEFs. I was going to bump it up right next to this energy conduit, but I don't think that's a very good idea. So yeah, let's build this out. Alright, we've got ourselves a medium Microverse Projector. Put the input bus on the left hand side and the output bus on the right. I think we can put these wherever we want on the casings anyway. So they might end up moved, and then I put a IV energy input hatch. So the tier 4 microminer looks like it's blocked by signalum heavy plating. And this is blocked by IV compressor, so I'm assuming it's an IV recipe. Oh man, I literally just upgraded my compressors in this compressor array to EV for the last tier microminer. I think it may have been last episode even. So I think instead of upgrading the whole array, I'm just going to build one and just accept the fact that it's slow for now. And then we'll upgrade them all once we get processing arrays. So our compressor's finished. This is just going to be a temporary spot for it. And I'll set the recipe in this interface here. I've configured auto output. And now we should be able to request signalum heavy plating. And we're up to nearly 2000 even signalum. Well, I was waiting on all that stuff. Oh wait, it would help if I actually plugged it in as well. There we go, we'll order that. How quick is this compressor? I'd like it to be faster, but we'll put up for this for now. We don't need to send many of this before we can upgrade. Anyways, that should complete a quest. And this has unlocked the tier 4 microminer. Let's have a look at this recipe to see what else we need for this. So the guidance system we have from the previous tiers. The mining laser we have from previous tiers. Tungsten carbide plating. I think we used this before, didn't we? Yeah, that was in the tier 3, so we have that. Tungsten steel chests. We have a lot of tungsten. Well, not a lot, because to be fair, I did use a lot of tungsten. So we're short on tungsten, but we can do this. We have tungsten automated. HV field generators. Oh, this is going to require quantum eyes, which requires radon and eyes of ender. Both of these things are automated, so it's just a matter of setting up a chemical bath for this. So that's easy, but still something we need to do. Signalum microminer engines, we don't have these yet, but these are just rods and plates, so that'll be a bit more infrastructure. The energetic thrusters, I don't think we have these yet. This needs vibrant crystals, which we don't have on Autocraft yet, so this will take some crafting to do that as well. And then the signalum heavy plating, so yeah, this doesn't actually look that bad. To launch the rocket as well, we'll also need Wither Realm data, which we can get from the Wither Matter DML. And luckily I did set up Wither DML, since I knew we would need it. I set it up last time. Here. I wonder how much Wither Pristines we're up to. 1300? Oh, that's a decent amount. I'll need to set up a loot fabricator for that as well. So yeah, there's still lots and lots to do, and I'm really glad that I got this reactor built, but I think that's going to just about wrap it up for today. I might set up a few bits and bobs in between episodes for the microminer, so we can maybe start with that and then get into processing arrays. I think this is where we're going to leave it though, so once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for some more Omnifactory.